Welcome to Dai Headlines. I'm Li Wei Tai. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in the show, 146 families in Johor Bahru in Malaysia are rendered homeless after a blaze. They receive fresh water and other supplies from Tzu Chi volunteers. Japanese students affected by the March 11th earthquake are getting help from their schools to recover from the trauma of the disaster. And we all know about Needless Monday, but have you heard of the VJIT campaign? In our On This Day feature, we go to Malaysia to learn more about this meatless movement. A fire broke out in a government-owned apartment block in Johor Bahru, Malaysia last Sunday, July 3rd, leaving 146 families homeless. Tzu Chi volunteers arrived with water and water dispensers for the displaced victims and also taught the children about recycling work.
Seeing their homes ravaged by the fire, the residents of this complex in Johor Bahru, Malaysia are all heartbroken. Volunteers are relieved to find an Indian family that Tzu Chi has taken under its wings. After experiencing a flood in 2006, residents were forced to relocate to this government-owned apartment. Today, without water or electricity, fire victims are again forced to move to a nearby church for temporary shelter. Tzu Chi volunteers arrive at the temporary shelter to hand out water, biscuits and nylon rope to every household. The next day, Tzu Chi volunteers bring another full water dispensing machine, giving residents easier access to water. Listening to the volunteers' instructions, the children all help to collect plastic bottles.
Dari mana adik ambil botol ini? Botol plastik ini dari mana?
Ke sampah.
Dia akan mengotorkan
Alam kita.
Kamu semua bagus ya.
The children go through trash cans to pick out all the plastic bottles, doing what they can to safeguard the planet.
Not far in the Philippines, a fire in Barangay Malande of Marikina City also occurred at the end of June on the back of flooding caused by Typhoon Mary. Tzu Chi implemented a relief work program to help the disaster victims clean up their neighborhood and rebuild their lives.
Barangay Malande in the Philippines' Marikina City experienced a flood caused by torrential rain at the end of June, and later a fire broke out as well. Many residents became homeless and had no idea how to rebuild their houses. Under the relief work program of the Tzu Chi Philippines chapter, residents and local volunteers work together to clean up the neighborhood.
Nagpapasalamat nga ako sa ganong sistema.
I admire Tzu Chi's way of helping the needy. They never forget people's needs.
Joining the efforts to rebuild the community, one resident takes out her water hose for the volunteers to use and helps however she can.
Helping them won't cause me any trouble. During Typhoon Katsana, I also provided water for everyone to use.
No one complains of the heavy work and getting covered in mud. As volunteers and residents know, this is the beginning of a better life with Tzu Chi by their side.
Moving to Australia, at the latest Tzu Chi monthly food distribution in Gold Coast, some recipients arrive early to help tidy up the chapter house as a way to express their gratitude.
Here at Gold Coast Dingsi Hall in Queensland, Australia, Karen always arrives early for the monthly distribution to give a helping hand. At the other corner, Betty also helps by cleaning the windows. And despite an injured hand, Tracy helps wipe the table and chairs. These care recipients are helping Tzu Chi volunteers ready the chapter for the coming distribution.
Welcome to our foundation. Look all the family here.
Some care recipients who are here at the Dingsi Hall for the first time are moved by Tzu Chi's love. Jessie holds her daughter tightly while she prays with everyone, and though financially troubled, one care recipient donates what he can. Come lunchtime, volunteers serve delicious vegetarian meals to all the participants. Surrounded by loving care, the recipients are grateful to have Tzu Chi in their lives.
As college graduates start working, many will run into challenges that they may not know how to deal with. And our next story, retired master engineer Liu Shugen from the Taiwan Railway Administration shares with us his secret to success in the working world.
At Taipei Railway Workshop, workers are taking apart steam engine CT273 for a major restoration. But in Taiwan, no one knows steam locomotives better than Liu Shugen. He thoroughly understands the function of every component.
Of course, with bigger wheels, the engine will be able to run faster. These wheels had to be this big. If they were a smaller size, like this, they would catch fire.
Liu Shugen retired in 1994 from Taiwan Railway Administration, but he is still the man the company turns to when they encounter problems. Liu built up his vast knowledge and skills as a young apprentice.
Observe, learn and ask. These three things are very important. When others are working and I didn't understand because I was young, I asked them why it was like this and how I should do such and such. So observe, learn and ask.
As an elementary school graduate, Liu Shugen served his apprenticeship under old masters. He would pick up discarded parts to study them. He says how a person goes about learning is very important.
When you are learning, you must learn to adapt and apply and not simply memorize. Whatever you don't know, you must observe carefully and analyze in your head. Try the methods you come up with, then you have mastered the problem.
The 78-year-old master engineer still visits Taipei Railway Workshop often. Let's hope his successors will pick up the spirit of the old master soon.
An Indonesian artist has been using eggshells in his creations. As well as winning critical acclaim, Morris Siregar says he enjoys turning unwanted eggshells into works of art with an environmental message.
Most people throw eggshells into the bin, but in Indonesia, one man carefully collects and cleans them before using them in an amazing way. Skillfully peeling and sticking the eggshells, Morris Siregar transforms them into works of art.
Awalnya itu cantik. Dia kan punya tekstur yang.
I chose eggshells first because when they are put together, the texture is just like a mosaic. And second, it's hard to recycle eggshells, so I try to recycle them.
Sampah yang susah didaur ulang ini.
It takes talent to make eggshells into aesthetically pleasing art. Morris spends 5 to 6 days on each piece. After struggling for 2 years, he finally has his own workshop and hired staff.
What makes me happy is that I can share these with other people, create job opportunities, recycle things, raise awareness, encourage people not to litter, and turn garbage into a resource. And we can get together, which are all happy things.
Morris is moving from 2 to 3-dimensional art, but is sticking with eggshells as a medium, as he looks for creative ways to spread his environmental message.
The earthquake and tsunami in Japan damaged or destroyed 6,200 school buildings. By the end of April, reconstruction work was making good progress. Though some students had to be transferred to other schools or put together with other classes, the school authorities are paying close attention to the emotional health of their pupils. Let's find out more.
As children run and play outside, the sound of laughter has returned to this tsunami-hit school. When they go back to class, they instantly fall silent, in keeping with Japanese classroom discipline. In this art class, the children apply their creativity and colourful paint to the paper. But outside the classroom, the scene is a grey and barren world.
If you come to this classroom and don't look in the direction of the disaster area, it's like nothing happened. You can forget about it for a moment and concentrate on class. The water flooded up to the first floor of the school buildings. Volunteers cleaned them up, and now they're back to how they used to be. The gym can be used too.
According to the Japanese authorities, the earthquake and tsunami destroyed 6,284 school buildings. 193 schools must be rebuilt, and nearly 22,000 children had to be transferred.
震災前はだいたい430人ぐらい。
Before the disaster, we had around 430 students. After the disaster, around 100 students were transferred.
In early June, clean tap water finally came back online. And healthy school lunches are back on the menu. A little after 11 o'clock in the morning, the meals van pulls up at the school. The food is paid for by the government, which contracts a lunchbox company to make the delivery. There is rice, a main course, a slice of fruit, fresh vegetables, and a small carton of milk as a nutritional supplement. The portions are the same for all grades. It's quite an achievement just 3 months after the disaster. But apart from school lunch, the children need emotional support to heal their hidden wounds.
They look like they have the energy to play, but in their hearts, the children carry a lot of baggage, like the death of relatives, their homes disappearing, and friends transferred to other schools. For children, these are traumatic events.
That's why a therapist comes to the school once a week to assist the teachers and counsel the children.
We come to offer support. Some transfer students feel unsettled. Their parents talk to them, as do the teachers in class, and other people encourage the children to help return their lives to normal. In this, we offer psychological advice. That's our job.
After the disaster, schools were turned into emergency shelters and temporary homes were built on campuses, inevitably disrupting the children's learning environment.
3 months after the disaster, the most important thing is the children's safety. We want to fill every child with hope for tomorrow and build safe schools. But it's not just classrooms. For the children's mental health, we're doing everything we can to help every child. And no matter who they are, we want to give every child a good future. We're currently working on stabilizing this foundation.
Go!
Working on their baseball swings, these children who have been through so much have grown up fast. These innocent faces and open smiles are like buds of hope springing up in Japan's disaster area.
Over to Taiwan, Zhou Meihua is a peach farmer and also a single parent. Thankfully, some enthusiastic youths have come to the widow's aid by helping her sell her peaches through the internet and in their school, as well as lending a hand with the farm work.
In the past, Zhou Meihua only had to peddle peaches harvested from her family's orchard on the street. However, after acute liver failure claimed her husband 2 years ago, she had to learn to care for the 1-hectare peach farm on her own.
I only learned about grafting a year before he died. Now I'm fond of my orchard.
The widow's hard work pays off. In her orchard, plastic bags meant to protect the peaches cannot shield their tantalizing hue. Due to climate change, all the peaches have ripened at the same time and need to be sold immediately. This year, Zhou Meihua has a new distribution channel.
We can't always ask people to buy these peaches all the time, so through the internet we are helping Auntie Meihua.
An IT student in Hualien's Donghua University, Chen Baojin set up a webpage for Zhou Meihua and also invited his classmates to sell her peaches on campus.
Peaches are fragile and bruise easily, which makes them hard to sell, so we invited our classmates to help.
He's only a freshman and on his own, he's reaching out to the less fortunate. He deserves our support.
Earlier this year, Chen Baojin and his fellow volunteers from the Red Cross drove 2 hours into Taiwan's Central Mountain Range to help Zhou Meihua with farm work.
I feel I have finally found a place to contribute myself. We all have to be careful as we work, like when pollinating. If we touch the plant, then it won't bear fruit. So we have to be careful.
Now that summer is here, they are again helping with harvesting. Thanks to the enthusiasm of these young men, Zhou Meihua's burden is lightened. Their friendship helps make these peaches sweet and delicious.
On this day, the 11th of July, on this day in 1987, the world population topped the 5 billion mark when Yugoslavian baby Matej Gaspar was born. The milestone inspired the founding of World Population Day on the same day 2 years later to raise awareness of global population issues such as food supply, birth rate, the fuel crisis and sustainability. Tzu Chi's 3-year poverty alleviation program in northern Thailand includes building houses for entire villages in Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai provinces. On this day in 1996, the completed homes in 2 villages were officially handed over to their new owners. At the same time, Tzu Chi volunteers also organized workshops for fruit farmers to help them build up their agricultural skills. On this day in 2005, the Indonesian Tzu Chi chapter signed a cooperation agreement with the Aceh government to build 3 Da'ai permanent housing communities for more than 2,000 people who were displaced by the 2004 tsunami. The new compound would include elementary and high schools to provide youngsters with immediate access to education. Tzu Chi Collegiate Youths in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, launched the Vegetarian Generation or VGen campaign throughout local universities and colleges. The aim of the drive was to get 10,000 young adults to pledge to vegetarianism, so that within the 100-day target period, a total of 1 million meatless meals would be eaten. The campaign successfully raised awareness of the environmental benefits of a plant-based diet among the Malaysian public.
In Malaysia, as was mentioned in the last video, the Tzu Chi Collegiate Youths in Kuala Lumpur initiated the Vegetarian Generation campaign, or VGen for short, to get 10,000 people to go vegetarian for 100 meals over the course of 3 months, which would translate to a total of 1 million meatless meals. We turn back the clock to July 11th last year to the launch of the vegetarian campaign.
On July 11, 2010, the Malaysian Tzu Chi Collegiate Youths of Selangor launched the Vegetarian Generation or VGen campaign to promote a meatless lifestyle among young adults.
The Vegetarian Generation campaign aims to get people to pledge 100 meatless meals within a 3-month period. In Kuala Lumpur, ever since the volunteers began promoting vegetarianism, we have kept thinking, what can we college volunteers do to contribute? Even though we are still studying in school, what we do invariably affects the earth. So we need to support this cause. We made a vow to persuade 10,000 people to join the campaign.
To get 10,000 people to pledge themselves to vegetarianism between July and October 2010, the Tzu Chi clubs at 25 Malaysian colleges actively promoted the benefits of a meatless diet throughout their campuses.
This activity helps people to eat more vegetables and lessens their reliance on meat. The demand for meat fuels the production of meat, which is not a very good phenomenon.
Every meatless meal equates to a reduction of 780 grams of carbon emissions. Within the 3 months of the VGen campaign, 3,206 people have pledged more than 20,000 meat-free meals.
Whatever difficulties you may have encountered, like the looks people have been giving you, don't let that stop you. They will eventually understand why we become vegetarians. Besides, anything is possible. Just try your best.
In 2011, Selangor Tse Ching added a new touch to their vegetarianism quest.
This vegan one-day workshop is held to appoint some of the campaign participants as vegan ambassadors. From vegetarian eaters, they have become vegetarian advocates. They will go back to their colleges and promote vegetarianism.
The only ethnic Indian on the scene is Tinesh. He used to fast once a week as required by his religion. Now, as an avid supporter of vegan, he has broken new ground.
I like pepper chicken a lot. Also, sometimes the chili chicken. Yeah, this is my favorite. And then once I joined there, and then I get to know non-vegetarian foods is effect for the climate and for the earth. And then I try to reduce my non-veg foods, and then after that I move on to fully vegetarian.
Eating fully meatless 3 meals a day for home leavers like Tinesh, it's much more economical to cook one's own food than to eat out.
When I going to the supermarket, I can manage to get 30 ringgit shopping for 1 week. If I take one meal downstairs, it's approximately 5 ringgit. Just take it's about 2 meals is 10 ringgit. So if you calculate with 5 days only, it will be becoming 50 ringgit. So it's more 20 ringgit, right? You still can save.
And for those students who do not have access to a kitchen, the VGen team helps order vegetarian takeaways 4 times a week, delivered straight to them.
They even asked the diners what they preferred. If this person didn't want tofu, they would write on a sticker and label it on the reusable container. They are working really hard to get more young people to give vegetarianism a try.
All of us are doing exams now, but they always take the time to pack and deliver our lunches. I'm so grateful.
At the beginning, I didn't think this meal service was possible. We spent some time organizing it, and we finally did it. I'm so happy.
Whenever I feel bogged down by this and want to give up, I tell myself one vegetarian meal achieved will reduce this much in emissions. That keeps me going.
These young students actively address the issues of global warming by getting more people to give up meat and thereby reduce their carbon dioxide output.
A friend said to me, "Do you think you are saving the earth like Superman?" Well, I think we really are Superman, and that we can save the planet.
As an individual, we might not have enough power to save the earth, but if we can get the public to support the cause, maybe one day we will be able to make a difference. In Banqiao, in Taiwan's new Taipei City, college students and kindergarteners coincidentally came together at a local Tzu Chi recycling station for a practical lesson on conservation work. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching Dai Headlines. Goodbye.